So today's topic, I have just given a catchy name to that particular topic, is 123 plant a tree. Okay, it's basically regarding a method known as Miyawaki method, growing the mini forest. Okay, so about today's session, I have already gone through. I'll just brief a little bit more. Okay, so as you know, Sushma has already said, means today is the need of the afforestation, and to just balance our natural system, ecosystem. So if you have seen, means while lockdown happened, okay, in 3 4 months itself, there were drastic changes in the environment, and all over the news it was there. Even the animals started coming outside to the cities. Okay, I think most of you guys has heard that, means if you have gone through the news and all. Basically, what we have taken from the nature, we have to give it back. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for the future to survive. So I'll be talking about a Miyawaki method, which was introduced by a Japanese botanist named as Akira Miyawaki. After his name only, this particular technique is named, and he has given an award, okay, for the environmental best giving environmental stuff. So he is a blue award winner for the nature in 2006. So how I developed in interest in Miyawaki methods. So talking about this is as I already told about that, means I am very passionate about growing the trees and plants. Okay, so I just came across, means I was searching for something on Google, YouTube, that how to grow a tomato plant from raw tomato. So I was going through the YouTube. I came across a interesting title. Okay, how to build a forest at the cost of iPhone. So I have seen that. I got interested in that, and then I found that it's named as Miyawaki method, and the person who started it all is Dr. Akira Miyawaki. So just talking about this, have means I know, means most of you guys have interest, might have interest regarding growing plants and all. Shishumna, what is your interest in this? Means have you planted any trees while in lockdown?
Yes, I did try some. I have some pudina in my front yard. I have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of turmeric plants which actually flower, and I have some aloe vera. Had to trim a few plants, but yeah, I think more focused trying to be with the greenery. We can't travel anywhere, but trying to manage with
Mm-hmm.
what we have at home.
Okay, okay. What about you, Tanya?
I'm not sure if Tanya's screen is stuck.
Okay, no problem.
Hello?
Will
Sorry. Yes,
Oh,
Tanya.
I'm sorry, I was talking on mute. I said every Indian household will definitely have curry patta, which I have.
yes, definitely.
So I have that.
Okay, cool. Okay, going forward, I'll just talk about a little bit about Dr. Akira Miyawaki. So he started, means in 1993, he started that, means how to grow a mini forest, and he is actually a professor. He was a professor, and now he is a director of a Japanese Center in International Studies, ecology. He got the Blue Planet Prize in 2006. So origin of Miyawaki method is basically when Miyawaki has started his career, and he got to know that, means right now deforestation is happening. Means at that time deforestation was very much, okay, in 90s. So he went to the forest, and the present, means that time present forest software, this present forest, and he found that people has so he found that, means there is coniform which are already there. Okay, conifers are the plant actually which is in the shape of cone. Okay, and if you have seen, means there are many shape of cones, and which we draw in the Means if you see in here in the picture, this type of trees, okay, might you have seen in the forest and somewhere, okay. So these trees, what they do, they help people to grow more wood, okay. So to get more timber, people usually started uh, um, planting these trees. Okay, so they have planted this much on the forest. So this is something means which started after the human intervention. Before that, there was trees, okay, which is known as the decene trees, okay, and those trees are present were present when the human intervention was not there. So what Akira Miyawaki has thought means if planting those trees back uh, might help to the nature because they were the native species of the earth. So he started thinking on that, and he got to know that means uh, we can actually create a forest in a small space in our backyard itself. Okay, so he has given a technique known as Miyawaki method. Okay, under which this technique you can grow your own forest on the minimum space. Okay, Shishumna, can you just get the first poll?
Sure.
So we have a poll. Just wanted to uh, get means
All right.
how much you know.
Yes, let me go ahead and launch the poll. And for the audience who are unable to see the poll, the question is, do you think the rate at which we're losing our forests or forest is increasing or increasing? True or false? Do you think the rate at which we're losing our forest is increasing? True or false? Audience, please feel free to share your responses. If you're logged in through the Zoom app or the application on your desktop or on the mobile, you can go ahead and use the poll option to respond. Alrighty, I'm ending the poll. And the results are 88% true, 13% false. Still, I see that there are a lot of people who think it's false. In the responses in the chat, Dheer, I think everyone said it's true. We are losing a
Okay,
lot of forests.
okay. So basically, yes, we are losing, but the answer of this particular question is false because at the present we are not. In 1990s, as I said, 1990s it was more. After that, it's increasing, and now at the particular state, the answer of that question is false because it's 50% more than 90 right now. So we have planted more trees under the Miyawaki method. There are million of trees which are planted, and yes, so we are actually doing good under the Miyawaki method by planting the trees. Okay, so the first time when Dr. Miyawaki visited Bangalore is Toyota invited him to have a forest in their office space. So in the backyard of their office. So they have created a forest over there. Okay, and while he was creating that particular forest, there was a young engineer named Shubhendu Sharma from India was very interested about this particular topic, and he got, and then later he started his own company. He joined Akira Miyawaki as an intern, and just learned that thing, okay, from him, and he has now created his own company known as A Forest, and he's doing very well. He has already planted 100 plus forests in worldwide. So let's hear from Subhendu Sharma. Okay.
This is a man-made forest. It can spread over acres and acres of area, or it could fit in a small space, as small as your house garden. Age of this forest is just 2 years. I have a forest in backyard of my own house. It attracts a lot of biodiversity. I wake up to this every morning like a Disney princess. I am an entrepreneur who facilitates making of these forests professionally. We have helped factories, farms, schools, homes, resorts, apartment buildings, public parks, and even a zoo to have one of such forests. A forest is not an isolated piece of land where animals live together. A forest can be an integral part of our urban existence. A forest for me is a place so dense with trees that you just can't walk into it. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. Most of the world we live in today was forest. This was before human intervention. Then we built up our cities on those forests, like Sao Paulo, forgetting that we belong to nature as well, as much as 8.4 million other species on the planet. Our habitat stopped being our natural habitat, but not anymore for some of us. Few others and I today make these forests professionally, anywhere and everywhere. I am an industrial engineer. I specialized in making cars. In my previous job at Toyota, I learned how to convert natural resources into products. To give you an example, we would drip the sap out of a rubber tree, convert it into raw rubber, and make a tire out of it, the product. But these products can never become a natural resource again. We separate the elements from nature and convert them into an irreversible state. That's industrial production. Nature, on the other hand, works in a totally opposite way. Natural system produces by bringing elements together, atom by atom. All the natural products become a natural resource again. This is something which I learned when I made a forest in the backyard of my own house. And this was the first time I worked with the nature rather than against it. Since then, we have made 75 such forests in 25 cities across the world. Every time we work at a new place, we find that every single element needed to make a forest is available right around us. All we have to do is to bring these elements together and let the nature take over. To make a forest, we start with soil. We touch, feel, and even taste it to identify what properties it lacks. If the soil is made up of small particles, it becomes compact, so compact that water cannot seep in. We mix some local biomass available around, which can help soil become more porous. Water can now seep in. If the soil doesn't have capacity to hold the water, we would mix some more biomass, some water absorbent material like peat or bagasse, so soil can hold this water and it stays moist. To grow, plants need water, sunlight, and nutrition. What if the soil doesn't have any nutrition in it? We don't just add nutrition directly to the soil. That will be industrial way. It goes against the nature. We instead add microorganisms to the soil. They produce the nutrients in the soil naturally. They feed on the biomass we have mixed in the soil, so all they have to do is eat and multiply. And as their number grows, soil starts breathing again. It becomes alive. We survey the native tree species of the place. How do we decide what's native or not? Well, whatever existed before human intervention is native. That's the simple rule. We survey a national park to find the last remains of a natural forest. We survey the sacred groves or sacred forests around old temples. And if we don't find anything at all, we go to museums to see the seeds or wood of trees existing there a long time ago. We research old paintings, poems, and literature from the place to identify the tree species belonging there. Once we know our trees, we divide them in 4 different layers: shrub layer, tree layer, and canopy layer. We fix the ratios of each layer, and then we decide the percentage of each tree species in the mix. If we are making a fruit forest, we increase the percentage of fruit bearing trees. It could be a flowering forest, a forest that attracts a lot of birds or bees, or it could simply be a native wild evergreen forest. We collect the seeds and germinate saplings out of them. We make sure that trees belonging to the same layer are not planted next to each other, or they will fight for the same vertical space when they grow tall. We plant the saplings close to each other. On the surface, we spread a thick layer of mulch. So when it's hot outside, the soil stays moist. When it's cold, frost formation happens only on the mulch. So soil can still breathe while it's freezing outside. This soil is very soft. So soft that roots can penetrate into it easily, rapidly. Initially, the forest doesn't seem like growing, but it's growing under the surface. In first 3 months, roots reach a depth of 1 meter. These roots form a mesh tightly holding the soil. Microbes and fungi live throughout this network of roots. So if some nutrition is not available in vicinity of a tree, these microbes are going to get the nutrition to the tree. Whenever it rains, magically mushrooms appear overnight. And this means that soil below has a healthy fungal network. Once these roots are established, forest starts growing on the surface. As the forest grows, we keep watering it. For next 2 to 3 years, we water the forest. We want to keep all the water and soil nutrition only for our trees. So we remove the weeds growing on the ground. As this forest grows, it blocks the sunlight. Eventually, the forest becomes so dense that sunlight can't reach the ground anymore. Weeds cannot grow now because they need sunlight as well. At this stage, every single drop of water that falls into the forest doesn't evaporate back into the atmosphere. This dense forest condenses the moist air and retains its moisture. We gradually reduce and eventually stop watering the forest. And even without watering, the forest floor stays moist and sometimes even dark. Now, when a single leaf falls on this forest floor, it immediately starts decaying. This decayed biomass forms humus, which is food for the forest. As the forest grows, more leaves fall on the surface, means more humus is produced, means more food, so forest can grow still bigger. And this forest keeps growing exponentially. Once established, these forests are going to regenerate themselves again and again, probably forever. In a natural forest like this, no management is the best management. It's a tiny jungle party. This forest grows as a collective. If the same trees, same species would have been planted independently, it won't grow so fast. And this is how we create a 100-year-old forest in just 10 years. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So you have heard that how forest has been created, and this is how they create mini forests. And this is very fast. It's exponential growth. As a native forest takes 100 years to grow, this particular forest will take 10 years to grow that big as a native forest. Okay, so these are some of the examples from Shubhendu's gallery he has created. It's a 7-month-old forest, which you see before and after in a corporate campus in Chennai. And this is in Madhya Pradesh indoors. He has grew this forest, and this is after 2 years how it looks. These forests are so dense you can't even walk from these forests. So this is what the method is. So okay, there are some interesting questions now. Shishumna, can you just launch the second poll?
Sure. All right. For the audience who are unable to view it, the first question is what percentage of people in the world rely on forests for their water supply? What percentage of people in the world rely on forests for water supply? 7%, 17%, 46%, and 76. You can type your answers 7, 17, 46, and 76. The second question, how much water can a large oak tree transpire into the atmosphere in a year? That is, how much water can a large oak tree transpire into the atmosphere in a year? 15 liters, 1,510 liters, 150 liters, and 1,51,000 liters. That's a lot of water. So 15, 1,510, and 150, and 1,51,000 liters into the air. Audience, all right. So we have about 22 responses. Let me end the poll and share it with people here. So the first question, we see about 46 and 76% percentage of water supply of the world rely on forests. And a large oak tree, I think most of the responses are 1,510 liters in a year.
Okay, so the first question was what percentage of the people in the world rely on the forest? So if I talk about a small example, Amazon forest, there's a river called Rio. 70% of that river's water come from Amazon forest. So the answer of this particular question is 76%. Yeah.
Whoa, that's huge.
So we are means we are cutting forests and for our greed, but that will harm us. Right now, if you see the Bangalore water level has gone very down.
True.
If we can do some of the, I mean, these kind of activities, we can actually save Earth. Talking about the next question, how much water can a oak tree transpire into the atmosphere in 1 year? The answer is 1,51,000 liters.
Wow.
Like it's a big tree and it do that, and it's 1,51,000 liters. So if a single tree can transmit this much water, what 100 trees will do? So okay, so Bendu has done some of the projects in Bangalore also. One is there in International Airport. It's there, and you guys next time walk over there, just see. Uh, he has constructed one first over there. Okay, so the benefits, as the video already told, that it's a 10x growth and 30x denser. You can't even move inside. It's a biodiverse, 100%. It attracts the biodiverse. Uh, Natural means it attracts bees, it attracts birds and other animals. It's 100% organic because there is no man-made stuff used in this particular forest. Okay. So I believe means most of the people means who have their own plants in the backyard, they don't go for the man-made stuff. They actually believe in the natural resources like maybe like neem oil for the for their doors and other things. So if we can do that, means if this is 100% natural method, it will grow very fast and it will be. So this particular Miyawaki method is after 3 years, this particular forest don't need your attention at all. It will survive itself. So this the 3 years time which you will have to provide it, like you are providing right now into your backyard. Might be if you have more trees, if you are having 20-30 trees over there, you are providing 2.5 hours, half an hour a day. Okay, you can provide that particular half an hour to a forest and you can create your own forest. So this is another company, reforestation. From there, we got this particular Miyawaki method result. Only this particular company, reforestation, has done climate change. If you see, CO2 stored is more than 1 million. It's 12 lakh 81,000 tons of CO2 stored. Biodiversity, these many animals have shelter now, and health, how much oxygen it has produced, the number is very large. Even the employment, it has created this much hours of work. So this is only one company, and there are hundreds of other companies that are right now going on this particular approach. Okay, so I'll conclude my session with the Miyawaki's message for the next generation. It's the future is in your hand. It's the youth. I mean, the future is in your hand. So basically, this approach, what we have done to the Earth in 5 million years, the Earth was the living creature has started from 4 billion years, and now from the 5 billion years, the human appeared on the Earth, and they have done a major disaster to us, and we have to do a little bit of art and actually go back and give back nature what we have taken. Best example was, means you can actually stop tsunamis. You can actually stop. Uh, right now in Hyderabad, means there was a flood going on, so you can actually stop that by planting the trees. That's what Miyawaki is going to do with Japan, and he has the one man has already uh, planted 40 million trees, and his next goal is 90 million trees to the coastal area of Japan. He will be going to plant 90 million more trees to the coastal area of Japan, so that those plants can stop the next tsunami from, and Japan will be saved for the next one from the next tsunami. So we can actually go back and do. So what we can means we cannot. So so what he's saying, Miyawaki said, means native forests are the bed of the precious DNAs, and the legacy we can leave behind for our generation is not only money, stock market shares, and other. Please create a genuine forest for your loved one and yourself. So you can actually plant a tree anywhere, anytime, and it will lead to a great forest in the future. Thank you all. This is all from my side. I hope means I have uh, talked much about the forest, and you people actually go back and actually plant one tree. That's what my topic was. One, two, three, plant a tree. One plant from one people. One person will be enough for the nature.
Wonderful.
The
Absolutely.
very, very strong message. I think we always take our environment for granted. I mean, we all do largely. And hats off to you to be very conscious about it and actually pursuing this as a passion. I mean, yes, we do indulge in some sort of gardening and plantation stuff, but I think to be fully aware of why we are doing it and then putting that in place is actually pretty good. So good, great. Keep
No
it on.
problem. If any questions are there, let me know. You can email me over my email ID also. I just got into the more into the John right now, so I have a little bit of knowledge, not that much, but yeah, I'll try to answer your questions if you can reach out to me.
Wonderful. That's very wonderful. What kind of really interested me is about the kind of woodwork that you've mentioned that you're interested in, and you look at 3D
Mhm.
designing. So something, if you've heard of there is somebody called Salu Marada Timmaka. She is an Indian
Yes,
environmentalist,
yes,
and
Bangalore.
she was awarded the National Citizenship of India, and she was honored rather with it, and she was
Yes,
also conferred Padma Shri in 2019. So I think
yes,
we have from Shubhendu a lot of people working towards afforestation, and what the importance of being able to grow trees. That's wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
mhm.
Thank you for a wonderful session. I think constant awareness and reminders, as mentioned by Babla, is very important for us to ensure we retain our focus in an area like this. Thank you so much, and everybody, thank you for joining us again for today's session, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you all.